Early cuts and the Team Natural community is something that hunted my career for over a decade. I was the girl that most people came to whenever the Team Natural hacks started to hack their hair off. I was the one that fixed it. So that's why I have so much insight, and that's why I'll never stop talking about it. So if you're not easily offended, let's keep watching because we're diving into it. Subscribe to the channel, click on the bell notification so you're notified every time I post a video, and let's get into it. Now, this beauty here is having her first appointment with me, and she is coming for the first time to see how long her hair is and how much hair she's grown, how healthy it is, because she's been a natural girl for years now. She has not had heat on her hair in years, and she always goes to the natural hair salons, and they give her deep conditioning treatments, they give her trims, her curly trims. They never blow dry her hair. They do the curly cuts, the curly trims, and that is what she's been doing for years. And it was only this time, she saw me on social media. She was like, you know what? I want to wear my hair silky. I know that it's so healthy now because I've been following all of the Team Natural practices. I've been doing my apple cider vinegar rinses. I've been using my rice water, and I've been doing all of the things, right? My co-washing. I haven't been using shampoos and conditioners like that. Like, all of my stuff is homemade. So my hair is healthy. That is where she was at. So I said, okay, no problem. She comes in, I give her a scalp detox and a hair shaft detox, right? The reason that you do that is because what I am doing is separating all 100,000 to 400,000 strands of hair on her head. And to do that properly, I need a complete blank and clean canvas. So any previous products that she has on her hair, any extra oils or anything that is coming out of her scalp naturally, any sweat, any dirt, any grime, any environmental pollutions, any of that, I'm getting it off 100%. And now the only thing that is on her hair now, after the conditioner has been rinsed out, after the detox, I am now just blow drying her hair with nothing but a leave-in conditioner. The product that I used in this video is no longer available, but one that I currently use now is left in the description box below, and as well as in the lower left hand corner of the screen. So click a right on that. I love me some camera, right? But I am round brushing her hair. Now, I am not rough or heavy handed in any way, shape, or form. I used to have clients fall to sleep during the round brushing process, okay? And you can also, take even more. Don't take my word for it. Look at the brush. You can see that there is no hair in my brush whatsoever. There's no hair in the round brush. So you can tell that no hair is coming out, right? So another thing that I do want you to notice is the density throughout the crown of her head. She is beginning to thin out just a little bit throughout the crown, and it's something that happens normally with age. It doesn't have to have anything to do with the hair products or the hair practices that you've been using. It could have a lot to do with age, but not for her. In her case, it's the Team Natural practices. It's the oils, it's the butters, it's the sleeping in conditioners, it's the sleeping in oils with covered in plastic and different things of that nature, right? But we're gonna keep going as we are blow drying her hair. Remember, this is not an attack on anybody. Most people who were following the Team Natural rhetoric were doing it because they thought that that's what you're really supposed to do with your hair. But really quick, you're going to see me do a flashback like I'm talking now, and now this video is about 7 years old. This video is 7 years old, and 7 years ago I felt even more strongly about it than I do right now, because this was right in the thick of Team Natural. Think about it. If this video is 7 years old, a couple of the girls that you guys watch your Team Natural videos for are under 27 years old. So if this video is 7 years old, some of the girls that you are listening to were like 17, 18 when this video was played, right? So like I said, this was in the thick of all of the Team Natural stuff, where I'm constantly making videos saying don't do wash and goes, don't do twist outs, don't do the bagging method, don't sleep in conditioner, don't detangle your hair wet, don't detangle with conditioner. This is when I was saying all of this stuff. And the reason that I'm so passionate about it now today is because I've been saying these things for a really long time, guys. And this is a visual representation of why I was saying it. It had nothing to do with what was going on YouTube, what was going on social media. No, it was because I was the person that everybody was coming to in private to fix the things that they had caused on their own hair and scalp by following the rhetoric online. So the reason that I'm still super passionate about it is because this was 7 years ago and it's still going on today in 2024. So now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and straighten her hair. I'm using nothing but heat protected. That is it, and that is all. Again, the product that I recommend is in the lower left-hand corner. I love Kimbra. There are a couple of other product lines that I recommend. Check my Amazon store, linked in the description box below. But I do want you to keep an eye on the way that her hair is looking as I'm straightening it. You can see very, very clearly one side is drastically longer than the other side. And this is what happens when you cut hair when it's swollen. The first thing that you learn in cosmetology school when it comes to cutting hair has nothing to do with race. It is all about the way that the human hair shaft works. And when it comes to curly hair swells when it is wet. And when it comes to straight hair swells when it is dry. And you only cut hair when it is stretched. You never cut hair when it is swollen. So curly hair is stretched when it is straightened. That's why your hair looks different from blown out to straightened. That's why your hair looks different from curly to straightened. It's stretched and swollen. And then when it comes to naturally straight hair is stretched when it is wet. And cutting hair wet came from diva cuts and diva curls when Team Natural took off, and hairstylists had to figure out how to catch their bottom line. So instead of black hairstylists and black cosmetologists staying strong 10 toes down, they ended up switching over so they can make money with the new diva cuts and the new diva curls. So black cosmetologists began to cut black hair the way that you cut white hair or the way that you cut straight hair. And they start completely ignoring the science of the human body. And that is where Team Natural flipped upside down on his head. It had nothing to do with YouTubers, but everything to do with the licensed cosmetologists and the licensed professionals that could not stay 10 toes down. That's what happened. Because imagine if every cosmetologist in this country was like, no, we're not feeding into that. It would have never switched over. But because the professionals started to mix up with the people playing, then everybody got confused. So this is a flashback, you guys, seeing 7 years ago, me 7 years ago. And you can see my passion has not changed. I just stepped from behind the chair because I was going crazy saying the same thing over and over again. Listen.
Wow, hello. I know you didn't think I would pop up on you one time for the one time like that, but let's do it. Because there was so many people's grandchildren that had stuff to say about cutting hair wet. But baby, this is exactly what I was just talking about earlier. You cannot cut people's hair wet because this is what happens. This is what happens when you cut people's hair wet. Do y'all see that? It's completely lump-sided. So she thought she was doing like the whole short on the side thing and then, you know, short in the back type deal, but he cut her hair wet after he double processed it with a relaxer. And then whenever it was done and her hair swelled, her haircut was so uneven, and this is how haircuts grow. Your haircut will grow and your client's hair will grow in uneven, just like this, if you cut your client's hair wet. I don't care what anybody says. There will be a full-fledged video coming about diva cuts and all of that stuff, because this was done with a technique similar to the diva cuts technique. And literally, most of the videos that you guys see here on my channel are from people who had their hair cut with the diva cut. You guys, like, it's not, you do not cut people's hair wet. And it's so funny because, like, I have other videos where people are like, oh my god, like, you are supposed to cut people's hair wet. You are supposed to cut people's hair wet. No, you're not. Because people, if y'all see something that y'all think that is different that I do, I get all hell breaks loose upon me, okay? But this cutting hair wet goes against all of the laws of science, not of hairstyling, things that people made up, not technique, things that people made up, but scientifically, you are not supposed to cut certain textures of African American hair wet, whether it is relaxed or natural. This video is proof of that, because the things that we are going through in this video here and all of these inches that I had to cut off, it's all because somebody wanted to decide to make her look like Dora the Explorer, like I said, or like this. They made her look like this. This is what she told me. These are her exact words, okay? Not me. So y'all get your life right with Jesus, okay? Because this is what happens. You end up having to cut way more than you're supposed to. So like you guys just saw while I was rambling along, as I was cutting her hair, I started off on the side where the most of the length was, because I cut slowly. Just like there are a lot of people like, oh my gosh, she cutting more hair because she keep going back. I keep going back because there's technique. I don't just go in there like a ninja, like, no, I don't do that. There's a technique that I use, and when I use that technique, I go slower so my client has the ability to change her mind. You cannot hear the audio because I'm adding music to it, and it's, you know, I set it up a little bit, but I keep turning her around. Are you okay? Are you still okay? Are you still okay? And every time she's like that, my clients be like, yeah, girl, just keep cutting. Yeah, girl, just keep cutting. So that's what's going on here. So I just decided to pop up on y'all and slide up in here. That's why I didn't put no makeup on or nothing. These girls looking dusty. Can't even really see y'all. Don't know if I look cute because I don't have my glasses on right now. But guys, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys. You are always so supportive, even when I'm being crazy like this. But I'm just sick of everybody grandkids always having something to say, and we cut a whole lot of hair this time, so I know it's still gonna be grandchildren in here talking crap, saying stuff, but I think her hair turned out so beautiful, and her hair is so thick and pretty. So if you guys can imagine as thick as her hair is, somebody cutting her hair wet after they over process it with the relaxer is horrible. And this is 2 years later. So in 2 years, this is where she has gotten to. When people cut their hair wet, this is what happens. Yes, your hair still grows, but it grows uneven. With all of the people who are saying that they don't really mind, baby girl, you gonna mind. But I feel like we did a really good job fixing all of her damage, and I feel like her hair looks really beautiful. But if you guys like this video so far, then go ahead, do me a favor and smash that like button. You are subscribed to my website, because I am teaching you guys everything I know on business growth and things of that nature. And I think you guys have been seeing up here, you know, all of my social media tags. Follow me on Instagram and every other form of social media listed in the description box below. And don't make me have to like pop up on y'all again, because I do not have a problem with it. I will pop up on you at any time. It does not matter. And on here, I decided I'm going to be myself. At first, I was going to be talking all proper and stuff, because I'm like, oh, I don't want them to think I'm ghetto. But at this point, I really don't care. So, yeah. Say something real smart. I'm going to pop up on y'all on a regular basis. I'm not about to keep like typing like, oh my God, they said no. I'm not about to keep typing. I'm going to just pop up on y'all. How about that? I'm going to be myself. If you don't like it, click the unsubscribe button. Hello.
So this is why I like to do the flashbacks, just because it gives you a better picture of why I'm so passionate, on why I'm saying the same things over and over and over and over again, right? It seems like I'm saying the same things over and over again because I am. And if you irritated hearing me say it, how do you think I feel saying it, right? But history is just constantly repeating itself because we're not learning from the past. We're not learning from our previous mistakes and making changes where we need to. We just chase product after product after product after product after product, right? And over time, it just ends up being a never ending cycle, and nobody has accountability. Nobody wants to hold the accountability and say, I've been trying to find so many shortcuts that these shortcuts have made me have to take the long way multiple times. How many of you have done 10 different big chops? How many of you have done 2 to 3 big chops? I need you to understand that. Let's do some simple math. If you're having a problem growing your hair, you are not having a problem growing hair. The problem that we have is retaining length. If you've done 10 big chops and every 10, why do I keep saying 10? If you've done 3 big chops and every big chop you've cut 10 inches off, what is 10 times 3? You tell me. That's how many inches of hair you've just cut off. So those are things that I need you to think about. Everybody's hair grows, but the practices do not help us to retain length. And so the very first person that you guys watched, that was one of the clients that was willing to let go of the hair that she needed to let go of. Well, this beauty here was not, but she was so freaking sweet, like super duper sweet. So everybody who was not willing to part with their hair and willing to part with the damage was not a bad person. They were not. Some just didn't want to. And this beauty is another that did a whole lot of twist outs and wash and goes, and she never really saw the true density of her hair because it will always be loaded up with so many different products. And then if she didn't do the Team Natural stuff, she was then doing like wigs and like clipping, so she never really saw her hair. And I remember it wasn't just one time that I did her hair. I would do her hair every blue moon, but it would be really exhausting to do it, and she knows this, so I feel more than comfortable saying it. And in the video that you're watching now, again, this was posted and unlisted, but I already made this statement in this video. She was really, really headstrong about having her hair on her head. That it was just as simple as that. And was really unfortunate, the majority of clients were this way. The women who were like, okay, I'm getting rid of it, I'm not about to play around, I'm not gonna do Team Natural stuff, were in the minority. The majority of women preferred to stick with the Team Natural stuff. So this beauty, like I said, super sweet girl, never gave me any problems, super sweet. But the majority of my clients were in this mind frame of like, okay, I'm just going to see when it's time for me to get my hair straightened and when I need a trim. But I got it with my Team Natural stuff throughout the rest of the month or throughout the rest of the year. I just need to go to her for my trims a couple of times a month or a couple of times out of the year, and this would be the end result. And so when I say that, oh, this is the thing that made me stop doing hair, there's no one isolated thing. So it's so funny to me when people are watching my videos, lurking on my channel, which is so funny. Hey, when people lurk on my channel and they're like, yup, this one thing, yup, that's why she ran out. No, she didn't run out of nothing. It was a combination of a whole lot of different things, because my passion was what I do now, but what I do now was not possible behind the chair, right? Again, on her hair, I'm doing the same thing that I did for everybody else's hair. Detox, conditioning treatments, blowout with nothing but leave-in conditioner, heat protectant to flat iron. That's it. That's all, right? And so again, with her hair, it was nothing different, but again, it was a combination of so many other things, so many different things. And I think one thing that a lot of people don't understand, and it's something we talk about in the 7-day challenge all the time, you are not a test dummy. In cosmetology school, I think that people have, because of YouTube, people have this misconception that when it comes to learning how to do your hair, or when cosmetologists or hairstylists learn how to do hair, they're all just sitting playing in their hair. No professional cosmetologist is learning on their own hair unless they at a dusty school. When you are in cosmetology school, unless you went to a dusty school, you are in the classroom and bookwork looking out the window at the girls that are on the floor like, one day I'll get to go out there with the big kids and do hair and touch humans. But now I'm in here with Ashley, and Ashley is the mannequin. We didn't do anything on our hair. Anything. We tried all the products, all the colors, all the demos, everything that we needed to do in the book when we learned something. Like how people take my course. You're taking my 7-day challenge. When you're taking my 7-day challenge, the equivalent to me doing that was when I was in school. When I was in school, I didn't learn something in module 1 and then go to the beauty supply store and test it out on my head. No. I learned something in module 1 and then I went and tested it out on my mannequin. Then I got graded on it. And it was only after I got certain grades that I was able to move up and get closer to getting on the floor and closer to doing hair. But it wasn't until after I was doing hair in a classroom for almost a year before I was ever able to touch a live human being. And I'm saying that to say this: if that's how it goes for the majority of cosmetologists on this planet, why would you, as somebody who is on social media or on YouTube learning, right? You're learning, you're watching videos learning. Why would you turn off a video after watching a 30-minute video? Why would you then turn that video off and then begin to perform the same things on your head that they were performing in the video, when the cosmetologist that does it didn't do that for the first time on a human being until after she did it on a mannequin like 1,000,000 times? These are the points of accountability I want us to have, because the reason that we didn't do it in cosmetology school is because when we were in cosmetology school, we learned that our hair shaft was not like our skin. Your hair, skin, and nails are all produced in your gut, right? But your hair and your nails are made of the same type of fiber. So you know how when your nail breaks, that's it. You got to cut it off. It's not going to fuse back together. Your ends are the same way. Once you break your ends, that's it. You have to cut them off. They're not going to fuse back together. That is why you do not play in your hair. You do not test out products in your hair. Like when you are on YouTube, that's why YouTube has been the biggest blessing and downfall for Black women at the same time. Because yes, you get the information, but you don't understand that before you get the information, you have to really, really, really understand it and practice before you apply it. Practice and preparation comes way before application, but we skip way over the practice and preparation and we go straight from watching the video to application. And that is where the problem lies, because once you break off your hair, that's it. It's just going to keep splitting up the hair shaft unless you cut it. That's why a cosmetologist says get a trim every 8 to 10 weeks, not because they want your hair to fall off, but we want to catch the break before it happens. If you catch the split before it happens, or before it gets the opportunity to split up the hair shaft, you're never getting breakage. You're always able to retain that length. But most women with naturally curly hair, with really, really curly hair and chocolatey skin or semi-chocolate like me, most of the time you're so afraid of shears because you think that your hair isn't going to grow that you literally just hold on to all of the breakage and you become your own worst nightmare. There are so many different forms of alopecia, but a few of these different forms of alopecia, different videos left in the description box below, so check those playlists, right? That form of alopecia can start from split ends because your hair shaft is still connected to your blood supply. So once it splits on the end, it's going to start start splitting all the way up the hair shaft, through the pore, through the follicle, and then it's going to eventually split and then separate from the blood supply. And then you have balding. Then you have certain forms of alopecia. Then you have different stressors. Sometimes it won't disconnect from the blood supply. Sometimes it'll just get right there before it's going to do it, and your hair will go, your follicles will go into the telogen phase, sending you into telogen effluvium as your body's way of protecting itself from you. Right? So all of the things that I say when I say I can't stand wash and goes, I can't stand twist outs, I can't stand wet detangling. This is why. I'm not saying it because, oh, me versus them, sin versus them. It's not sin versus nobody. What? No, we're talking about the science of the human body. Make it make sense. Make all of these pieces fit together for you. Knowing everything that you know about the salt bond, the hydrogen bond, and the disulfide bond. Knowing everything that you know about the human hair follicle. Knowing that the hair follicle can lay dormant 100%. Most of you guys think that you have dead hair follicles, and your hair follicles are not dead. They're dormant. Now, if the hair follicles are dead 100%, they cannot be brought back to life. That is why I'm saying do not grease the scalp. Do not oil the scalp, because you're slowly killing the follicle. And before you kill the follicle, it becomes dormant. So a lot of you guys, that's why when I make all of my videos about different teas and things that you can drink to help grow your hair back from bald spots when it appears that you have dead hair follicles. You guys, if you've been on my channel for a while, I preach all the time that once a hair follicle is dead, that's it. So you should know that, right? But most of you think that you have dead hair follicles, and they're not. They're just dormant because your body does not have the type of fuel that it needs to be powered up for your natural hair cycles to be completed. And there are so many different reasons that your hair growth cycle can be slowed down. That's why I'm introducing different herbs to you. Some herbs like mugwort are for telogen effluvium. Some are for a problem with the liver, right? Like burdock root. There are so many different things. So many different things. So these are things that I really, really want you to think about, even when it comes to oxygen flow and hair growth cell reproduction. That is where our blue butterfly pea flower comes in. It is all about holistic practices, learning about what each herb does, what each property does, and what your body is actually needing. But when it comes to a hair shaft that's damaged like this, it doesn't matter what you drink. It does not matter what product you use. It does not matter what tea you put on the scalp. It does not matter what oil you put on the scalp. What is going to happen is the hair shaft is going to continue to split all the way up. So I know there are a lot of people who sell oils and butters and hair products. Do your thing. I'm not getting into that. Do what you want to do. I am here to explain the science of the human body to you. You can either take it or leave it. I'm not here to argue with you about what's right or what's wrong, because as you can see for this video, I have been doing it for so long. I've been going back and forth with it for so many years, with my clients in person, with people here on social media, with viewers, with other YouTubers putting out misinformation, so many other things. You know, with me getting accused of pushing misinformation, even though everything that I say can be looked up in medical journals. These are things that I really want everybody to think about. And so when I post these videos, it's not to be combative, but it's just to give you a visual representation so you can see yourself in other women, because we're all in this together and everybody's making the same mistakes. That is why my one-on-one consultations were temporarily closed until I get these last couple of videos out, because I want you guys to hear this. Because you may not need to book a consultation with me after you watch these last couple of videos that I've just posted, because everybody has the same issue. Everybody has the same problem. So as you saw, I gave all of my clients the mirror. I showed them what I see, and I tell them to tell me what to do. And she just said, can you just cut a little off the bottom? Like a little. She said not even an inch, just a really, really little bit. I said, okay. And that's what we did. And so when I say this is why I left the industry, anytime I make a video saying I left the industry because of this, baby, there's not one reason. It was like all of these different things compacted into one, like noise from these people over here. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And the majority of my clients had situations like this. If you can see in the background, there's somebody else waiting for their turn. And she was a little early. I was not late. Thank you very much. She was early. I was not late. Thank you. But it was one after the other. One after the other. So these are things that I really want y'all to think about. Sometimes when you watch videos on YouTube, I think it is a little easier to imagine that it's all just like super hunky-dory because the videos are short. Like you just watch 2 appointments in less than 40 minutes, right? 2 whole hair appointments. So the reality of the energy around it is a lot different than what you perceive it to be looking at it on social media, right? But again, at this point, all I could do was what my clients asked. And one thing about hair, right, and about the hair industry is about creating illusion. So I'm really, really good at creating illusions. So it was annoying that I couldn't give her healthy hair for real. But was I able to make it look like, create an illusion temporarily that it was healthy? Yeah, I was able to do that for her. And so for the end result, for her walking out, she liked the way that it looked. So it wasn't an issue at all for her. Of course, I didn't like it. I wasn't satisfied with it. But that's what it was. And I always get professionals that are like, I wouldn't be letting nobody. Well, I wasn't about to be like, put your goddamn head down. I'm cutting this. Whether you like it or not, you better shut your ass up. Like, I don't get down like that. If this what you want to do, player, this what you doing. So this is how her hair came out. It didn't come out bad, but I know that it could be a lot healthier than it really was. This again is another part of this series. This is episode number 8. So make sure you check the videos in the description box below, read through the playlist, watch all those videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.